She didn't cry when she saw the words. They were ugly enough to scar, but she wouldn't give them her tears. Mia traced the spray-painted slurs on the metal of her locker with a steady finger, took one breath like a diver, and whispered, "Not today." Down the corridor, the laughter that had been stalking her since the first week of school stalled, a cheap radio losing signal. "You think you can survive here?" Tyler crowed from halfway down the hall. The phones came up like a line of little spotlights, hungry for a clip to post, a stranger to roast, an algorithm to feed. Paige leaned into him with a grin that never touched her eyes. Brett cracked his knuckles, the percussion before a show. Mia closed the locker gently, as if not to wake something dangerous. She felt her hands shake but set her jaw, remembering Sensei Park's first rule: the first thing you control is your breath. She lifted the strap of her gym bag, and the old black belt in the side pocket brushed her wrist, midnight fabric stitched with her name in gold thread, the only expensive thing she owned. She didn't pull it out, she didn't need a prop, and she wasn't there to perform. She just let the memory of every practice soak through her skin, the hours of quiet repetition, the balance, the boundaries. Ridgeview High contained all the usual weather systems: laughter, gossip, pressure against the ribs. Mia and her mom had moved in mid-year after the factory cut shifts and their rent outgrew their budget. The new apartment was over a laundromat that hummed like a low ocean. Her mom worked breakfast at a diner and dinner at a hospital cafeteria. They traded notes on the fridge and tired smiles in the doorway. So Mia stayed small at school. She sat near windows. She drew birds in the margins of worksheets because birds understood leaving and staying at the same time. Tyler and his orbit didn't like small. They liked spectacle. The first month they ignored her. The second, they labeled her mute, odd, imported. By the third, they tested how much she'd take. When she refused to perform any of the roles they handed her, they painted one on her locker. "Open it," Tyler said now, rapping his knuckles on the metal as if summoning a pet. Mia opened it. Inside sat books, a faded photograph of her and her mom at the county fair, and the belt, coiled like a sentence that ended with a period, not a question mark. Paige's eyebrows arched. Oh, she said. Karate Girl brought her costume. "What are you going to do, ninja kick our feelings?" Mia swallowed. She had promised her mother, no fights. But defending your space wasn't a fight, it was a line drawn in clean ink. She tied the belt over her cardigan, practical, not dramatic, and started down the hall. The crowd parted, not out of respect, but out of curiosity, wolves sniffing the edge of the fire. "Say something," Tyler hissed as he slid in front of her. "Say sorry for wasting our oxygen." "No," Mia said. One syllable, exactly the size of a backbone. Mr. Alvarez, the English teacher with ink on his tie, stepped from his doorway. "Enough. Get to class." His voice was firm, but the hallway was a stage, and no one leaves a stage before the scene is over. Brett bumped her shoulder, harder than a joke. Paige lifted her phone to catch the flinch that didn't come. Tyler reached for Mia's wrist. Training rose like a tide inside her. She turned her forearm along the line of his thumb, stepped with the breath, and freed herself without a hit. Brett lunged, clumsy, she pivoted, guided his momentum past her, and he stumbled into the lockers with a hollow clang. Gasps leapt in the air like popcorn. Mia didn't raise her fists. She kept her hands open, palms showing, every movement a sentence that read, "Stop here." Campus security arrived. So did a flood of rumors, because a rumor is a story with its brakes cut. She attacked them. She's violent. She's crazy. That night, staring at the cracked ceiling above the sofa she slept on, Mia listened to the laundromat's dryers thrum and felt fear creep up her throat like smoke. Her mother sat beside her and smoothed her hair. "People mistake loud for true," she said. "But tomorrow is built out of what we choose tonight." Mia thought about choice. The first challenge was humiliation, the kind that makes you want to shrink until you vanish. The second was reputation, other people shaping your outline with lies. The third was fear, of losing control, of becoming the anger you despise. The fourth was the heaviest, believing your voice matters enough to use. Morning brought a fresh coat of paint on the locker and a flyer taped to it for the spring showcase. Clubs would perform, parents would clap, the school would sell the idea that it was a community. An idea sparked in Mia like a match catching. What if she didn't wait for the school to rescue her? What if she demonstrated, calmly and publicly, the difference between harm and a boundary? She asked Mr. Alvarez for 2 minutes on the program. "I don't want to fight," she said. "I want to teach." He studied her, then nodded. "Use your voice." Jay from Japanese class overheard and volunteered to help. He was the kind of shy that feels like honesty, with a smile that kept apologizing for arriving late. He told her about walking his little sister to school before his dad's overnight shift ended. She told him about Sensei Park's rule. He said, "I can be the clumsy partner," and she laughed, first time that week. The dojo lent them mats. Mia wrote what she wanted to say, crossed it out, wrote it again. She dropped 3 simple invitations into 3 lockers: Tyler, Paige, Brett. "You're welcome to learn," she wrote, her handwriting small but steady. The gym smelled like popcorn and poster paint the night of the showcase. The dance team glittered, the robotics club's car zigzagged like a bee. When Mia's name was called, a wave of murmurs rolled from the bleachers. Jay took his place. Mia bowed, not to show off, but to show respect, and faced the crowd. "I'm quiet," she said into the mic, "but I'm not weak. I'm a black belt in karate. That doesn't mean breaking boards on people. It means discipline, respect, and control. It means my body knows how to write no in a language even the cruel understand." She demonstrated slowly. If someone grabs your wrist, turn along the thumb, not against it. Jay grabbed, she flowed out. If someone shoves, step aside instead of meeting force with force. Jay pushed, she pivoted and created space. Self-defense is not about bruising. It's about boundaries. She lifted her open hands. Like this. Phones rose again, but this time the red dots felt like stars recording light. Mia spoke about the challenges she'd faced: humiliation that sticks like glue, rumors that outrun truth, fear that wears the mask of caution, and systems that promise help but move only when you scream. She said she had wanted to disappear, then decided to build instead, a place for breath, for balance, for better choices. Her gaze met the 3 in the bleachers. "I'm not here to shame anybody," she said. "I'm here to invite everybody to learn a different way to be powerful." Silence is heavy when people are thinking. Then Paige stood, makeup perfect and voice unsteady. "I'm sorry," she said. Brett looked at his shoes. Tyler's jaw worked like a machine finally losing steam. Mr. Alvarez stepped forward and used his teacher voice in a way that made it sound bigger than a rule. "We're starting a peer-led program on boundaries, bystander skills, and basic self-defense. Mia and Jay will help lead it with staff and the dojo. If you've been hurt, there's counseling. If you've hurt someone, come learn how to stop." The workshops filled faster than anyone predicted. They began with breath work, fill, hold, release, because panic doesn't listen to reason. They practiced standing tall without puffing up, saying, "I don't like that," without apologizing, stepping between a target and a pack without becoming another attacker. Paige showed up and admitted she loved the rush of being watched and had fed that hunger with other people's pain. Brett confessed that yelling at home made him treat school like a place where only the loud survive. Tyler came last. He was prickly for a while, then stayed late to stack mats and asked questions in a voice that sounded new in his own mouth. Healing wasn't cinematic. There were muttered jokes in hallways and a substitute who called the program extra. But other things bloomed. A freshman slept without nightmares for the first time. a math teacher changed his seating chart to dissolve a little empire of meanness. A baseball player told his captain the homophobic chants were done. Mia's bird drawings flew onto the program's flyers, not as escape but as carriers of thread, stitching names into community. One afternoon, Mia found her locker covered with sticky notes, a collage in riotous colors. "Thank you. I used my voice today. You helped me help my friend." She cupped the paper warmth with both hands and felt steadier than she had in months. The online clip of the hallway incident didn't vanish, but it acquired context, her showcase, her words, the program. The local paper wrote a piece called, "Quiet Girl, Strong Voice," and Mia told the reporter, "Strength isn't the punch. It's the pause. It's the choice to hold your ground without giving away your kindness. It's protecting yourself while leaving room for others to grow, if they choose to." On the last day of school, Tyler waited under the old oak by the buses. He looked smaller without the crowd, more boy than bully. "I got a job with my uncle's construction crew," he said, scuffing his shoe. "Trying to work on stuff." He handed her a folded note. Inside, "Thank you for not humiliating me when you could have." He left before she could answer. At home, Mia slid the note into her sketchbook beside a new drawing of a hawk towing a bright thread, weaving it through a ring of hands. Her mom came out to the fire escape with 2 cartons of lo mein and the kind of smile you only wear when you've survived a long winter. The city lights sputtered on. "You changed that place," her mom said. "We changed it," Mia answered, thinking of Jay bowing too low on the mat, of Mr. Alvarez with ink on his cuffs, of Paige practicing apology like a language, of younger kids walking taller. And it's only the start. So here is the piece you can carry with you. When someone tries to write your story with slurs and fear, take the pen back. Draw a clean black line like a belt across your waist and call it a boundary. Breathe. Invite help. Speak even if your voice wobbles, it will steady. If you've been a bystander, step in with steadiness and respect. If you've been the harm, step back and learn a better power. None of us is only the worst thing we've done, all of us are responsible for what we do next. If this story stirred something in you, use the comments to tell us where it touched, share a moment you stood up, or a moment you wish you had and want to practice for next time. Your words might be the hand someone else needs to grab. And if you want more stories that honor courage, gentleness, and second chances, please like this video, share it with a friend, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Heartfelt Tales. Your support keeps this community growing, learning, and lifting one another.